I accidentally girl bossed too hard, and now I have a real job with real responsibilities, and like people keep emailing me and asking me questions.
Come in, bestie. You're gonna wanna sit down for this.
So you are being laid off.
Oh, no. When they told me, I was like, you know?
It's like really sad. Fit check. Let's make a TikTok before you go.
Stop. Oh, I totally forgot. Your severance is karma. Oh.
I accidentally girl bossed too hard, and now I have a real job with real responsibilities, and like people keep emailing me and asking me questions.
Like, I don't have time for I got high standards. I'm a very independent woman. If you're coming into my life, you need to be an addition because I'm whole. I got my best friend. I got my family. I got my health. I'm up. I got all my boxes checked. So if you come in the picture, you need to be an addition, not a subtraction, not a division.
Just remember that you're the prize always.
Say that one more time.
Just remember that you are the prize.
Yes.
That's like his golden slogan for me.
Yeah. And what does that mean for you in relationships when you're like, I'm the prize? What does that mean?
It just means not compromising like my values, my happiness, my peace, not settling for less than what I know I deserve, and not being afraid to walk away from a situation if it's like no longer serving me.
Modern women have this idea in their heads that they are a prize in a relationship, many because of this discourse about the modern, independent woman, who usually ends up alone. Now, I ask myself, if you were a prize, why does nobody want to win you? Why does nobody offer you a ring? Because every prize has competitors fighting for it. But if nobody is fighting for you, then you are not a prize. You see many women now saying they are independent and don't need a man for anything. But the moment something breaks at home or with the car, the first thing they do is call a man. They forget that their world of protection comes from a man. This generation of pampered woman brainwashed with this message that you are a prize, that you deserve no less than what you're worth, that you need to raise your standards, are the women who end up the most single on the dating chart. They want to climb to the top, to believe they are a boss lady, then realize that men don't want anything to do with them. That men of their caliber prefer the simple girl from the town, or the woman from the cafe. That your money, your high status, or whatever you consider yourself, matters very little to me. As the last woman said as a man, I want to see what you add to my life. If you are feminine, if you treat me with respect, if you listen to me and take care of me, if you perform acts of service, if you fit into my frame, we make a team. With these women, you find nothing more than a boss, always receiving orders, only being seen for your money. In the end, they dare to say they are the prize, but it sounds ridiculous, as I heard in the following video.
Why do bad things happen to girl bosses? Will we ever know? But we must continue to be a girl boss through it all.
Man, I feel lied to by the culture. But I'm going to take full responsibility there, man. I fell for it. I fell for the boss bitch, the like, I could do everything by myself, that hyper independent bullshit. And I'm 31 now, and I still don't have kids. I still don't have a family. I was focused on trying to get after the bag and all this. Yo, what? I'm in a place now in my life where I'm reevaluating everything. My values, my perspectives, what I really want in the future. And what I really want is a family. I feel like social media or just everything around us, society in general, wants to push that the woman is the future. No, the family is the future.
Brothers, the wall does not forgive. Unfortunately, there are things in life from which you cannot escape, and the wall is one of them. Many women want to take the path of being a boss lady because they are sold this idea of business trips, owning a house, a car, glamour, dressing elegantly, having big purses, a millionaire boyfriend, a large house, and everything like a Hollywood movie. But in the end, it all comes down to a 9-to-5 job in an office, with a desk and mail full of papers, just watching a clock on the wall, seeing your life and your best years slip away without achieving anything. But this brainwashing is significant, as more and more women want to be empowered because they believe in the rising trend of photo and video selling apps. Many see this business of selling their dignity as an easy way to make money. Yet we keep hearing these speeches, or like this stupid song that woman just sang. The reality, girl, is that you've woken up too late. You've hit the wall and realized that what really matters is having a family. You realize that you may have money but an empty house, where no one is waiting for you. That your life revolves only around a daily routine. This woman is 31 years old. Let's say she meets someone tomorrow. It might take until she's 32 or 33 to get married, and have her first child at 34. This is assuming she meets someone tomorrow. It could be that nobody comes, or she meets someone in 3 or 4 years. Do you think she won't increasingly feel the weight of her decision every day? Brothers, time in the wall. Do not forgive.
I'm not gonna cry. Say it.
I'm not gonna cry.
You're not crying. Don't cry. Smile.
If you ever run across a man that says, I just want somebody to love me for me, bitch, run, okay? Please run, because that man is a grade A fuck up and a dumpster fire waiting to happen, right? Because that was his way of saying, without saying it, that the last bitch didn't put up with my shit, so I got to prep and prime the new bitch that I'm going to fall short. And I have to put it in a way that makes her feel bad about me falling short, or feel bad about having an issue with the fact that I'm falling short because nobody loved me for me. Run. Because this is 2023 and our love now has conditions. We are not out here willy-nilly loving niggas unconditionally. Our love has boundaries. Our love has conditions. Sir, go find you someone to love you for you. We wish you the best.
Brothers, what this woman doesn't understand is that if she doesn't do it, believe me, another woman will. Then you'll see this man with another woman living a good life. You'll feel jealous and start making videos criticizing him. Believe me, these are the women who criticize men the most, especially if they are of their own race. They are always criticizing them for everything. That's why men are more concerned about who their partner is, because women around them always have something to say. That girl crying, brother, this is a crisis. Many modern women today are having nervous breakdowns. The job, the responsibilities, the singleness make these women turn to antidepressants more and more each day. Why do you think women are always forming support groups among themselves? You always hear them in their speeches saying, I have my family, my friends, because they always have their support group as they all go through these crises. It's even stronger when they are in their 30s. Why is this? Because they are more aware of time. It's like the woman who says she feels deceived for being the boss lady. It's because the woman is aware of her biological clock. They know they need to find a man soon to start a family. They know that if they don't make a move, they'll end up childless or alone. That's why you hear them change their discourse at 30 about having high standards, that they are not there to wasti time. Of course, they are tired of enjoying time with Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. Now they want a beta provider, someone who offers financial security, because now they are ready to be wives. But before we move on, brothers, we want you to support us in our goal for the coming months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing, so support us with your like and subscription. Don't forget to leave us your comments. We also have a super chat if you want to support the project. Without further ado, let's continue.
I don't know what kind of things your Korean mom tells you, but my Korean mom has always been team don't get married, don't have kids. She's actually very pro have multiple boyfriends throughout the span of your life. Date them if you feel like it, break up with them if you feel like it. And she's like, if you do want to get married, her little motto to me right now is 결혼은 신중하게 하고 이혼은 빨리. Think long and hard about who you're getting married to, but if you want to get divorced, do it quickly with no hesitation. My mom is also the biggest girl boss, very anti-sprinkle. Last night I told her, I was like, 남자는 나한테 돈을 줘야지. And this was her response.
그런 생각이 어딨어?
Because I grew up with that kind of an influence, he's never pressured me to get married or have kids. He's also never planted this idea that I need a man to take care of me. The only time I feel sad about being single is when I come on the internet and I see other girls being sad about being single. Truthfully, have never romanticized being a mother. Like, I was never one of those girls where I was like, I'm destined to be a mother. Like, I want a kid, want a family. My little life plan, backed by my mother, is to be in multiple long-term, short-term relationships with very cool men and just have a good time along the way. This is Korean Mother certified.
I really have to laugh at this. In short, your mother told you to be a promiscuous woman, to be with as many men as you want, not to get attached to anyone, to enjoy everything. In short, her mother was a married woman who, after getting divorced, probably had to work twice as hard. Since she didn't marry anyone else, she went out with all the chads that came her way, as a form of empowerment, believing she was the one in control. These are the women who brainwash their daughters. This woman succeeded because her daughter bought into all these ideas. In Korea, women tend to be more traditional, but her mother failed in that path. And out of spite or hatred, she didn't want her daughter to have those values, and taught her to be an independent woman who doesn't need any man. Today, her daughter is over 30, already at the wall. She says she only gets sad when she sees another woman reminding her of her situation. After reaching their 30s, they convince themselves that they never wanted a family, saying this speech about not wanting children. But you can't reject something you've never had the chance to have. Right, brothers? So, what does she do? She goes out with as many chads as possible, just increasing her body count. What great advice this mother gave to her daughter, transmitting her hatred very well. I can only imagine the father's face hearing this.
If you're such an alpha male, but you can't even afford a $500 dinner, go hunt and catch me a deer and kill it with your bare hands. But you won't, because you're a pussy. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Do you drink sparkling water? No. Are you afraid of bubbles? Don't antagonize me, my blood pressure's rising. You know the thing that pisses me off the most? All these dorks that slide into my DMs. And they say things like, hi, beautiful. Do you have Snapchat? Of course I ignore them. When you ignore them, they call you a bitch. The fuck you expect me to say? I do not know you, you pathetic loser. I do not want to receive dick pics from you, okay? It's haram. If you want a chance with me, you pick me up with your spaghetti and you take me out on a proper dinner. Wear a suit, be a respectful gentleman, and don't expect to take me home that night. Bitch, I cost more than a $50 dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. Even hookers cost more than that. Don't be a broke bitch.
This woman is quite a character. She wants to be like Andrew Tate, but in reality, instead of listening to and paying attention to what he says, she prefers to modify it in her own way. Then she wonders why she remains single. Brothers, any man who listens to Andrew Tate's speeches, not just a TikTok clip but an entire interview, will see the values he aims to instill in men. These include working on oneself, taking care of your physique, setting boundaries and sticking to them, educating yourself, improving your finances, always going to the gym, and taking care of your family and wife. Many women just live in criticism but never sit down to truly listen to the discourse. They only hear what comes from the mouths of these feminists, only listening to what they say, without hearing the other side. They believe they know it all and immediately accuse him of being misogynistic. That's why you see more and more men improving themselves and following their own path, while more and more women end up alone, hitting the wall, because the wall does not forgive.
It's funny because it's true.
We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about what this 31-year-old woman said about being tired of being an independent woman? What do you think of the advice of that Korean mother? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.
What are your thoughts on coffee dates versus dinner dates as a first meeting? No. I think anytime, if a guy just wants to ask you for coffee, I'll tell you why he does. It's either because he goes on a lot of first dates and he's super picky and he doesn't want to spend the money because he knows he's picky and he almost never likes anybody, or he usually rarely gets second dates, and or he's cheap. So it's either 1, 2, 3. Either he's so picky, he goes on a lot of first dates, or there's something wrong with him and he goes on a lot of first dates, or he's cheap. So it's definitely one of those three, and sometimes it's a combo, okay? So you want somebody who is excited to actually go on a date, take you out, spend the time, and get to know you. And I hate it even when I'm setting a woman up with one of my clients. She goes, well, I'll meet him for coffee. I'm like, yeah, and that date's not happening. That's not what I do. Like, I live in a sophisticated world where we do dinner, okay? And if you can't be a grown-up and sit through dinner, then I think you need to sort out your problems and then circle back to me.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Imagine going to dinner with someone you don't know, hoping to create an emotional connection while spending money on a date with no guarantee of success. Then, you realize the date is a disaster, but you can't leave for 2 reasons. You've already ordered the food, and on top of that, you have to pay the bill for someone you don't even like. That's where a coffee date is the best option. Not only do you avoid wasting time on someone you're not interested in, but you also save money and the discomfort of being stuck in a long dinner. Both men and women can leave without any issues if the connection isn't there. Coffee dates are practical, functional, and truly allow you to get to know the other person. Plus, if the date goes well, it opens the door to a second, much more enjoyable date.
Yo, what happened to that 9,000?
Yelling.
My fault.
No, leave it.
The 9,000. What happened to it?
Reginald needed it. That was it.
You gave it to Reggie for what? Why would you ever give my money to your baby father?
Sir, you need to drop that ass like a bad habit. Because Reggie, that's her man. You her ATM.
Are you dumb?
He got in some trouble and I needed to find him out.
What the fuck that got to do with me?
It has nothing to do with you, but when we got together, you knew my family came first, and I thought that's what...
Oh, no, you tell me you fucking playing with me right now.
Reggie is her top priority. She will forever take from you to give to him. Put her ass out right now.
Ain't no way you gonna give $9,000 to your baby father like me. Okay, I don't care. He was in jail? So you bailed him out with my money? Are you insane?
Why are you yelling?
Girl, you playing a dangerous game. And you sitting there like you ain't did shit wrong.
Cause you crazy. You ain't even tell me the truth. You said you're gonna use it to handle some business.
And
that ain't no business.
I can't be a single mother.
I'm here. Yo, nah, this is crazy.
Well, take your ass back over there to Reggie. And sir, you're going to have to take that loss. But I hope that you learned a valuable lesson about putting girlfriends on a joint account.
She took $9,000 from him to bail out the father of her children, and she doesn't even consider him her man. In fact, she tells him she doesn't want to be a single mother, which means this man was never really her partner, just her personal ATM. Never, ever put all your accounts together. You can have a joint account for family expenses, but only emergency money should go there, not your life savings. It's insane. There are too many stories of men who, when they try to get a divorce, have their wives drain their accounts. Or worse, they use their money to support another man. Then there are cases where a man comes home from work only to find that his wife has taken everything and disappeared. Brothers, putting your future in someone else's hands is a mistake. Always keep your personal account and don't let anyone have access to it. If you really need a joint account, open one with your mother or someone you truly trust, so that in case of an emergency, your money doesn't just vanish.
So 2024 is coming to an end. Here's a few things that I wish we would just leave behind, but I know some of these women just can't.
In the nasty girl, nasty, up in the nasty, nasty, nasty. Is somebody gonna match my state? Is somebody gonna match my state?
Bald is not really my thing. I think maybe if we were 40 and like you were bald, then it would be like different. But we're like really young. Initial attraction. That was there anything specific? His face.
Why would a man ever be monogamous to you when you go out and you sell your body to other men?
I don't sell my body to other men. I sell my time. If I go to the club and guys pay me for my entertainment,
They're not there because you're fucking amazing popular
Actually,
or you're
for
educational.
me, I can't talk about no other strippers, but for me, I'm not gonna lie, I have a personality on me.
And at the end of the day-
at the club, they love it.
I saw somebody come pick me up before, but I looked out the window and it wasn't there. So I let them sit outside my house and I'm like, I'm not coming out. I'm not here. You know, my bad.
What?
I mean, it's not that.
So how long was it the car? What made you just change your mind?
The car, when I seen through that window, that wasn't adding up. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm not coming out the door.
So the car wasn't right.
It was
May I ask what type of car we talking about?
a Camry.
La la la, whatever. La la la, it doesn't matter. La la la, oh well. La la la. Bitch, you better be joking. I'm just not gonna have a man's baby just to have a man's baby. If a man wants me to have his baby, I have 2 requirements. You're gonna get a tattoo of my face on your body because it's a body for body. My body can change forever, your body can change forever. And my first present is either a car or a house, preferably both, but I definitely want a tattoo of my face on the other body, preferably stomach, because my stomach is gonna look different after a baby. So your stomach should look different too. I want a man 6'4", or like a NBA player. I just want somebody, like I want his life to be the Bible. Like I just want somebody who's so obsessed with the Bible and so obsessed with Jesus and who understands and like you said, like who can teach us things. Yeah. Like I want my dude to speak in tongues and have tattoos.
For 2025, can we please bring back some morals and values?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
This is so incoherent that I don't even know where to start. But if there's any woman watching this video, this is what men are encountering out there. This is what goes against the possibility of building a family, what affects children, and what makes men decide to stay single. We are in a cultural battle. Nowadays, in the West, it's almost impossible to find a woman with whom you can start a family and who thinks even somewhat rationally. They always have a problem for every solution, and then they wonder why men don't want to commit anymore.
One of the hardest and most unexpected parts of being in a healthy relationship after a toxic one is learning to stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because when all you've ever had is love bombing and lies and manipulation, it is so hard to understand and accept that someone would genuinely want to do nice things for you out of the kindness of their heart. When they do nice things for you, it's almost like you're afraid to let yourself enjoy it. You don't want to let yourself love it or get used to it because all you've ever known is that it stops after a couple weeks. Or all there's ever been is ulterior motives. They did something nice because they were trying to hide something and cover up their guilty conscience. They did something nice with the expectation of something nice done for them in return. They do something nice and then wait for the moment to hold it over your head later. And if you're trying to love someone who's been through something like this, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you is to stay consistent. Don't start off strong with an energy and effort that you don't plan to maintain, because they're going to notice when it shifts. And please don't let their questioning or hesitation make you stop, because that's the worst thing you can do. Stay steady, stay consistent, and one day they will accept that the other shoe isn't going to drop.
This is exactly why I always say that many women should go to therapy. Brothers, when you start dating a woman and see that the relationship is getting serious, after a few months, ask her how her previous relationship ended. If she tells you that her ex was a Chad, that he put her on an emotional roller coaster, and that he was the worst man ever, but she never went to therapy, that woman is a red flag. Now, if she says it was a mutual decision, that they simply didn't understand each other, and that they didn't end up hating one another, that could be a good sign. Women who come out of very toxic relationships usually look for someone to take out all the damage they've been through. Trust me, you don't want to be the one paying for someone else's mistakes, especially if the Chad who drove her crazy was the man she truly loved. Because when a man mistreats her and she remains obsessed with him, The next guy who comes along will just be her emotional punching bag, just like the woman who took $9,000 for a man who didn't even see her as his partner.
I hate when broke men try to talk to me. Oh, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out. You don't think I'm special. You really don't. Because if you did, you would not talk to me. You would lock in. Okay, something you're clearly unfamiliar with. You would understand that I deserve gardens. I deserve a princess carriage, a princess castle, and some caviar. So why the fuck are you trying to talk to me with your understanding?
So the real question is why are you hanging out in places, or why are you in places where you would be able to attract said broke man? That's just for starters. And how do you know this man is even broke? Because what, are you judging off of his appearance? So based off that logic, based off your appearance, I can gather that based off the fake boobs, the Botox, the filler, and all of the extra maintenance that you put into yourself, let's check your credit score and your credit card statement. Because I can guarantee you that you're massively in debt and you're calling out broke men because essentially you're the person who's broke in the equation. And let's not forget the amount of women that have this inflated ego, and they confuse their confidence with an inflated ego, which leads to their selfish behavior that they're entitled to a man with money. And what, do you think you're entitled to a man with money just because you think you look good? That's in your mind. You're the one that thinks you look good, and your personality tells us the exact opposite. And where you're really broke is your emotional maturity, because why are you having a tantrum over a broke man hitting on you? Why are you in your car screaming about said broke man if you are the one giving off broke girl vibes by your maturity level? Even the richest man in the world is not going to look your direction because you have the emotional maturity of a sewer rat. Just a side note for all of the men, anytime a woman starts to shame you or try to pass guilt or try to insult you, you've already won the argument. But I digress. Let's not forget that some of the wealthiest people that exist, off the top of my head, Adam Sandler, who will wear his shoes until they are worn to the core before he buys new ones and has money, wears basketball shorts every day and a basic ass t-shirt, he's wealthy. So the fact that you are passing up a good man that might actually have wealth based off you being judgmental says everything that a man needs to know about you, and you're actually doing him a favor. So basically, you're a broke woman calling out other broke men because you're insecure about how you look, how you live your life, and you're trying to attract a man that's going to take you on and basically take care of you and get rid of all of your insecurities and your brokenness. Let's not forget that there's women out here that think they are a 10 out of 10, but they can't even communicate to a man properly, that they're just simply not interested without having a literal tantrum. And you don't think that's a problem. Let's just call it what it is. At the end of the day, you attract exactly what you are. So if you are consistently attracting these said broke men, it's because you are the broke one yourself. Okay, bye.
A broke woman demanding a rich man. The never-ending story. There's not much more to add to this. Just this. Men, be careful, because the world of Western women is completely out of control.
I need you to sit down. You're going to have to sit down for this one. This is a DNA story. It's wild. You're not going to believe me, but I have all receipts, and it's going to get crazy. I'm going to make a couple different parts because it's kind of long. I'm going to start it from the first day. So basically, I did my ancestry DNA test about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. You know, just trying to see where I'm from. I'm curious. Curiosity usually kills a cat. So there's no cats dead here, but there's a lot of curiosity. There's going to be a lot of things that come up, and you're just going to be like, wow, this is wild. So when you do an ancestry DNA test, you get connected to DNA matches. So as long as the other people that you're related to, that you share DNA with, do the test, you'll be connected. Most of the people that I was connected with on the... Okay, so part 1. All right, so at the top you can see is my mother, to my maternal side, 50%. You know, common sense. And then here it says close family, half sister or niece, 28%. And then under that, half nephew, 15%, blah, blah. So this person under close family that I shared 28% with kept coming up. And it kept coming up like new and newer, because it had never said half sister before. So I had reached out to a couple of other cousins because they had her picture. I looked for her on Facebook. I couldn't find her anywhere. So I reached out to a couple of cousins, sent her picture. You know what I mean? Like, she has a very specific name. Do you know her? We share the same last name. Like I said, she's from my father's side. My cousin had no clue. And this is a cousin that, even though we have 150,000 cousins, knows all of them. So something said, stop playing around. Inbox her. You can inbox people.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
So, you discover a sister that no one knew existed through an ancestry DNA test. We can't jump to conclusions just yet, but the story is getting interesting. So let's keep watching to truly understand what's going on here.
All right, so this is the first text from her to me after I gave her my number in Ancestry. Let's just say for this situation, her name is Jennifer. So Jennifer Moore happens to have the same last name as me, which is through her mom, which is even more like crazy and coincidental. Here I'm explaining that we're definitely related through, my dad. Well, let's say my dad's side of the family. At the time, I'm thinking she has to be a sister. Here I asked her how old she was, because I'm 40 and I just was really curious, and she's 2 years younger than me. So again, I just want to reiterate that it's just a coincidence that both of our last names are Moore. Obviously, DNA is not the coincidence, but we're related some way, somehow, very strongly. Here is where we kind of have a breakthrough of what we think we do, because I'm like, you're our sister, and what else could it be? Something told me to keep asking her birthday. Like, something kept telling me to ask her birthday. All right, so here's where I asked her birthday. She says January 30th. I couldn't breathe because I knew it. I say, you're lying, because guess what? My birthday's January 30th. My birthday. So now I'm like, this is crazy. Just another coincidinky, whatever. Like, so her last name's Moore through her mom, not through her side of the family that she's related to me on, which is Moore also. She's lived in the same county as me all her life. So have I. We do not know each other, and we have the same birthday. We are literally going insane right now. I was going insane right now.
Could she be her long-lost twin? Well, no, because she's 2 years younger than her. The big question here is, why don't they confront their parents directly? Or at least the unknown girl's mother, the one who actually gave birth to her, if she even knows who the father is. There are a lot of unanswered questions. If a DNA test confirmed that they are sisters or cousins, or whatever they may be, that means the unknown girl has been living a lie her whole life. And that also tells us something even more shocking. The man she believes to be her father probably isn't. This smells like a case of paternity fraud by the mother. Things are getting really interesting.
All right, so let me kind of get everybody back on track a little bit. So basically, my DNA matched a girl that's lived in my county for my whole life. So when I keep saying live in my county, I want to acknowledge that she's lived 5 minutes, 10 minutes from my house. Like, her backyard is my backyard. Where we live, it's very small. So we share the same last name. It was just a coincidence. Her mom has the same last name, which I'm not related to her mom or her mom's side of the family at all. Coincidence that we both share the same birthday. So now we're at a point where we've kind of been talking, texting back and forth, and trying to figure out how we are related. The only way that we are related is behind a bunch of lies. We just don't know at this point the lies, or who knows the lies, or who told the lies, or who's the victim, or, who's the aggressor, who's the predator here. Somebody is and somebody isn't, but we know that there's something wrong here. So this is me and her conversing about how my actual ancestry page says that we are either sibling, half sibling, or she's my niece. I'm saying the only way she could be my niece is if her mom slept with one of my brothers. My oldest brother is 48, which at the time would have made him 9. So here we're talking about my dad or my brother are the only way that there's a connection here, that literally one of them has to be her dad. And either way you slice the pie, obviously this is going to be a weird situation. But at the moment, yeah, I'm thinking that my dad is her dad. I'm really thinking like, damn, maybe something happened, maybe he didn't know her age or something, but I don't have my dad for this type of person. My dad's not this type of person. My dad protects women. My dad loves women. My dad wouldn't do that to a child. So she's also feeling like her family has some explaining to do. I'm wondering if her mom is the victim. I don't want to question the victim and push the victim into answer.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
I want you to notice how she says, who is the predator here? I can assume that everyone is blaming the father because When things like this happen, he is always the first to be accused. Throughout her entire narrative, she keeps directing the blame toward her father. Even though she says he wouldn't do something like that, she's still blaming him because he's a man and therefore he must be the guilty one. No one is talking about the fact that a 15-year-old girl had a child and doesn't even know who the father is. Why doesn't she confront her mother and demand answers? Because women can simply declare who a child's father is and no one questions it. But in this case, she doesn't want to do that because she pinned the child on another man and now doesn't want her lies to be exposed. Responsibility is kryptonite for women. But let's see who the real predator is in the final part of this story.
All right, so I'm going to try to sum some things up really quickly and just to make it a little bit easier. So I did my DNA on Ancestry. I did this DNA test because I wanted to know what I was. I'm mixed. My mom's German and my dad is black. So I always wanted to know, what I was. It comes out that I'm about 50% German and 50% Nigerian. I pretty much knew most of my family on both sides, except for there's still family in Germany. And on my dad's side, we never knew my dad's dad. So we never knew really his family. My dad always assumed a man to be his dad, but we just never knew. So the DNA test, I hoped, would connect us to other people that we were related to, that we just didn't know we were related to. And you never know who you're related to. You need to know who you're related to. We live in a small place. You get me? So boom, me and the girl match on DNA. We're 28% matching. It says that she's my half sibling or my niece. I'm like, well, damn, what's going on? She can't be my niece because my brother's 48 and then my other brother's 45. This whole time, she's lived 5 minutes away from me my whole life. Like, we live in each other's backyards. Like, I'm in her city all the time. I also want to reiterate that her last name is Moore because my last name is Moore, too. So I would assume, as I'm looking at the website, that she's related to my father. You know what I mean? My mother's white. There's no way. Just so happens it's a coincidence that she has the last name Moore because her mother is a Moore. So her mother gave her the last name Moore, not my father, or not my side of the family. So me and her get to texting. We have the same birthday. We've lived in the same place. We're 2 years apart. We both know that her grandmother dated my dad at this point. We're going back and forth. So now it starts to get a little dark because we figure out her mom had her young, which means that my dad was around then. And if we're related, this could mean that my dad is her dad, which would mean that my dad would have raped her mom, which I hate to use that word, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, right? So we're all kind of scrambling, feeling really down about it. Everything was feeling so happy and like, wow, we found a sister or, we thought. So my other sister called our brother. We have two brothers, an older brother, 48, and then one 45. She called the 48-year-old brother and was explaining the situation and see if he had anything to say. He had nothing to say. He had no idea. He was really weirded out about it, and he was really hoping, just like me and her, that had nothing to do with our dad.
God. So your father was involved with this girl's grandmother while her mother was only 15 years old? Do you even realize what you're saying? You're accusing your own father of a crime without a shred of evidence. This kind of prejudice has sent hundreds of honorable men to prison, because if he's a man, he must automatically be guilty. She confronts her father. Let's see how this story ends. But before that, I have a question for you all. How would you feel if your daughter took a DNA test, discovered something like this, and instead of seeking clear answers from the mother of the girl in question, she hinted that you were a predator, when you've always been a decent man?
But then how? We're trying to figure out how this girl's related to us, not, just blame it on somebody. So me and the girl are figuring it out. We're going back and forth. So now what happens is we get to a point where my dad's the only connection that we have. My dad lived there apparently, and when her mom was 15, you know what I mean? And blah, 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 blah. My dad had my brothers there. I don't ever remember being there. My brothers apparently remember being there, but we're just getting there. My dad has no clue how this girl could be related to us. He thinks I'm crazy. He's telling my sister he's mad at me because he didn't even give me any DNA. You don't have to give me DNA, Dad. I'm crazy. So after my sister reached out to my brother and talked, and I reached out to my other brother and talked, me and my sister were sitting together and we were talking and just trying to figure out how this was going to go. We're nervous. We can't figure out how this happened without blaming our dad. So last night, my brother, my oldest brother, who's 48, called my sister. and told her that he's that girl's dad. I know. You didn't think I was going to say that, did ya? So he told me that when he was 9, turning 10, our grandmother would drop him off there, assuming that that was my dad's residence and for my brother to be with his dad. And he was being dropped off there and having sex. He said almost daily. So now we kind of know the truth. Either way, it's bad and it hurts. I am somewhat relieved that it's not my dad who is the predator here, and I never had him for that. My dad's a good guy. You know, he's a good man. He might not have always been the best dad in the world, but he was never the worst either. So now as far as my brother, I feel like my brother's a victim, and I feel really bad for my brother. I guess, you know, this girl that we met through DNA match, who is now my niece, is 2 years younger than me, and I feel really bad for her. I feel like if I hadn't done this, nobody would even know. I changed her life too yesterday, the day before. Since Monday, I've changed her life. Her mom is her mom, obviously, but her dad's not her dad. Her dad is only 10 years older than her. This girl has kids. My brother's now a grandfather. I don't know, but what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have me and my siblings go live on here in a day or two. So if you guys could share this for me and get it out there, it'd be cool. I think it's really important to get your DNA done. I think everybody should be buying ancestry DNA tests for each other for Christmas. Honestly, I think DNA should be done at birth. But thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm going to try to do a live with my siblings and reel this thing in a little bit. And I'll try to answer anybody's questions as good as I can without, you know what I mean, giving up too much. Thanks.
Brothers, nothing really happened here. Just small matters of life, right? Except for the fact that this girl's mother was the one who abused a 9 or 10-year-old boy. Except for the fact that she committed paternity fraud and pinned that child on a man who probably still believes she is his daughter. Except for the fact that an innocent man was falsely accused of abuse. A serious man who had nothing to do with this. Except for the fact that a 9 or 10-year-old boy was abused and had a child he never knew about. Except for the fact that a girl just discovered that her father is only 10 years older than her, that the man she thought was her father isn't actually her biological father, and that her mother lied to her all her life, making her believe she belonged to a family that wasn't really hers while being kept away from her real one. But as I said, since a woman did it, these are just small matters, right? All of this could have been avoided if DNA testing were mandatory. All of this could have been avoided if, from day one, women had to take responsibility for their actions. But in this matriarchal system, these crimes go unpunished. If it had been the father, he would already be facing charges for the abuse of a minor. But since it was a woman, it's just small matters, right?
After 5 years, I'm finally calling it quits. It's over. And the backstory of us is that we've been together for 5 years and things are getting worse by the day. And this morning was the last time that I could cry again. Like, I was putting on my makeup, getting ready for work. I'm a morning person. I was singing Christian music. I had it on the radio. He just comes in, like, he wouldn't talk. He's been very short with me. Like, I don't know what I do to him to make him this way. I mean, there's nothing I can be doing to make him the way he is. And he just started attacking me, basically, like telling me it's a small thing, but it has to do with a group text in his family. And he wasn't talking to me all morning. And then he said something about I don't have to respond to every text that his family sends. And I said, why? And he said, just because you don't have to, blah, blah, blah. He was just getting mad about it. And then he said, well, you know, you just need to move out. You just need to leave. Why are you still here? You're the one still here. And the reason that this happens is because he always tries to make up with me. And after I cried while I was putting on my makeup, and I couldn't even get ready for work because my feelings were so hurt. Put on my makeup. I still went to work. And then later on, even though I went ahead and told him I'm not going to any family events this weekend, and I was just upset, and
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Until we see the full outcome of the story, we can't draw any conclusions. But if there's one thing I've always known, it's that men discard in silence. When a man tells you to leave, it's not an impulsive decision. It's because he got tired of asking for changes that never happened. You see this in many marriages. The man watches as his wife, over time, stops making an effort. She no longer takes care of herself, doesn't dress up for him, gains weight, spends her days lying on the couch, and little by little, intimacy disappears. Everything becomes a problem until he is completely drained. And when he finally makes the decision, he stands firm and says, "I want you to leave." That's when the tears and drama begin, with her claiming she doesn't understand why he's acting this way. But the truth is simple. He tried, she refused to change, and now it's too late.
it's not like this has not been going on for a while. I feel like I don't have a home. I feel like I do not have a home, and he's always telling me to leave. And why, if I don't like this and that about him, why am I still there? And then anyway, today he sent me a couple of texts throughout the day when he knows we were already, like, I wasn't fighting with him, he was fighting with me. And he already sent me a message, that said, like just a silly message just to try to talk to me, I guess, and then ask me if I wanted to go eat later, another message. And I'm like, how are you? Is something wrong with you? Like, it's like he gets a kick out of seeing me upset, and then he wants to make up, and then he gets upset again. And there's so many other things. I mean, him telling me he wants a prenup, him telling me that, talking about his ex-wife, he's not even completely divorced yet, and they're still arguing about stuff, money, and he doesn't want to talk about it with me because they're still talking about houses and money, and just, he's like, yeah, I worked my whole life for this, and I'm not, like, it kills him to spend $20-$30 on me. Like, if he takes me out to eat, well, he throws everything back in my face. Like, every single thing is always back in my face. I can't take it. Like, if he takes me to eat something, well, I took you to eat, and we're going out to eat this weekend, and then that's that's more. I mean, he complains about everything when he has enough money, and he even told me the last time, I'm going to pay cash money to build a house. If you have that much money to build a house, then why are you making me live in an RV right now? And then I ended up asking him that when we were fighting the other day, and he said, because I didn't invest anything in it, because it's his money, he worked for it. And
now I understand what's happening here. She bears part of the blame, but so does he. This man is coming out of a divorce, and this woman seems to be one of two things. Either she was his mistress, or she was simply the woman he found in the middle of his divorce process. That means he hasn't fully healed. There's a saying I really like: there's no such thing as a stingy man. You're just not the woman he wants to spend his money on. Unfortunately, that's exactly the case with this woman. Rather than being a stable partner, she seems like a short-term replacement, someone he isn't truly looking to build a future with. When he brings up the prenuptial agreement, he's being logical. If he's coming out of a divorce, there's a good chance he lost a portion of his money. Now, he simply doesn't want to repeat history, which is why he spends the bare minimum on her. Not because he's stingy, but because he just doesn't care enough about her.
I can't even have an animal. I can't have, and then if I do have an animal, take me inside. Like, I want a cat. I want 2 cats. I just want to be able to live somewhere, have my cats, go to work, and that's it. I'm just, I've been crying off and on all day. Thank God for my coworkers. I mean, they really helped me through everything. I mean, my friend, she's going through stuff, and my other friend's going through stuff, and it's sad. And now I'm here at Bucky's because I don't want to go home. I went to go work out for as long as I could, and I'm just sitting here because I don't want to go home and talk or anything. I'm going to go to my daughter's for the weekend, and I'm going to try to forget them as much as I can. When I listen to sad music, it gets to me because I remember how much fun we used to have and all the things that we used to do. But then I think, wow, I'll never have the kind of future that I want. Like, he'll always talk down to me. Like, since I was a stay-at-home mom most of my life, and I just went to work maybe 5 years ago, he says that we're not the same. And he's so mean to me, but he's not going to bring me down. I'm never going to believe that. I don't believe that. And he told me this morning, you act like you're God's gift to me. I've never acted like that in my life. And he said he's upset I'm working out. He's upset I'm trying to lose weight. I mean, there's just so many things that can go on and on. But anyway, tomorrow I'm going to my daughter's, and I'm staying there for the weekend, and I'm off on Monday. So thank God I have her. But yeah, wish me luck. I'm going to sit here for about 30 more minutes, and then I'm going to go. I hope you all have a happy weekend, and yeah.
Stop it. Get some help.
Girl, move on. You're not a tree. You don't have to stay in a place where you're unappreciated. Let's be honest, this man doesn't love you. He's just using you as a pastime. And this is exactly what I always tell men. With Chads, women act differently. She knows he treats her poorly, doesn't value her, love bombs her only when he needs something, and ignores or mistreats her whenever he feels like it. But here's the key: she stays. Why? Because in her mind, she's still in love with Chad. She's trying to convince herself that he can change, that there's some external factor making him act this way, instead of accepting reality. And this is where you see what we always say here. Women think emotionally, basing their decisions on how they're made to feel. One day, he makes her feel loved. The next, he brings her crashing down. And she becomes addicted to that emotional roller coaster. She's selling herself a fantasy.
Guys, this is it. I'm leaving. He's waiting for me to leave the gate. This is just an update post from yesterday. He's waiting for me to leave. We can close the gate. And here I go down the highway the last time. It's crazy because the song by Ella Langley was playing when I left. Well, I came on Pandora. Work for the Wind. I don't know. I kind of feel free. I'm scared though. Yeah, I don't have one of those fancy things that hold your phone up. I'm driving. So I'm trying to make this video without crying. Guys, I'm trying to go to my daughter's and I'm crying. Anyway, so I got most of my stuff today. And I didn't know it was gonna hurt this bad. So I'm not gonna be able to talk a lot because I'm gonna cry too much. So I'm gonna keep it simple. Thank you so much. I haven't read all the comments, but I read a lot of comments, and I feel like God is helping me. Like, so many of the comments that I read, basically gave me the confidence to just say, okay, you gotta go. Like, even if I had to live in my car or whatever I had to do, I just have to do it because things are getting bad. And so I packed up most of my stuff, and I'm going to my daughter. She has no idea what's going on, so I'm gonna have to ask her if I can stay with her. She knows I'm spending the night, but stay with her maybe for a week or so. But my job is like an hour away, so I'm gonna have to drive. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I only work 4 days a week, so it shouldn't be that hard for me to do this for about 2 weeks. I'm gonna ask her if I can stay for 2 weeks. And God is just working in my life. Like yesterday when I made that post about him and I was sitting at Bucky's, I read all the comments and I read some that said something like, you must like it if you're still there. And they're right to have their opinions, and I don't like it, but I love him. Hold on. But I love him, and even driving off, he opened the gate for me, like, no big deal, like bye. And then he told me yesterday, basically like, okay, so you're doing this for stupid reasons, like little things that he doesn't understand that it has to do with every single thing that he's told me. And every single time I've had to go to work crying. And I'm tired of lying to everybody and people not thinking anything is wrong with me because I'm smiling every day. I get dressed and I fix my hair and I put makeup on and I get all dressed because it makes me feel better. Hold on. Sorry, I can't stop crying because it makes me feel better to do that. And nobody would ever know that I have so many issues, but luckily I talked to my friends at work and
I'm going to be honest about this. She has every right to leave, just as I would tell any man to walk away from a bad situation. But what's interesting here is how she says she loved him. Women get into bad situations by choice, and this case is no exception. This man wasn't even divorced yet. He was just in the process, which very likely means she was the other woman. And here's an interesting fact. Relationships that start with infidelity have a high probability of failure. According to marriage counselor Frank Pittman, about 75% of men who marry their mistresses end up divorcing. On top of that, only 5% to 7% of extramarital affairs lead to marriage, and the vast majority of those don't last, which seems to be exactly what's happening here.
my God, I have somebody to talk to because something else is very sad. Let me tell you. Something that I went to the gym last night to work out because I told him I was going to be gone. Like, I would come back at night. And I have a sister on my mom's side. My sister got to live in my mom's house when she died because we let her because we wanted her to take care of my mom's things. Anyway, that's a big, long story. But the point is that she doesn't deserve it, and she's never liked me for whatever reason, and we try to get along, but I don't know what it is about me. She's just mean to me, but let me tell you. So I was at the gym and I was walking on the treadmill, and we lived kind of like close together, and she was there, and I know she seen me walk in, and I know all that, but the sad thing is that we're blood sisters, and I know she seen me, and I know, and she never once said anything to me, and nothing. And I was getting ready to stop what I was doing and say, oh, but that's how I am. But if somebody
doesn't want to pay attention to me or acknowledge me, then I have nothing else to say. Like, too many bridges have been burned. And even, like, when they moved, like, I was married for 23 years. And do you know that I was never told to leave out of the house? I mean, he did other things, but anyway, I'm gonna go because I keep crying. And I just want you to know that I thank you so much for all of the comments that I got. Because it gave me the power, it gave me the strength to go on. So today, I'm gonna be like, you know how you are when you cry all day and your eyes are like dry and you just feel like sleepy? I'm gonna feel like that today. Because I've been crying yesterday, so I'm gonna feel pretty bad. But I'm gonna cheer myself up however I can. I already asked my church group for prayer because I need it. And everybody's praying with me. And people don't know unless you say something. So that's why I wanted to say something. And I truly, truly think that God sent all the people that commented on my last post. I think He sent y'all to me because I'm leaving. And I'm so sad. I just hope everybody has a wonderful and wonderful day. And if you have a mom, share of that because I don't. So, but I'm thankful for my daughter, for my son, just for having them. They have to put up with me. I've never asked them for anything, so anyway, thank y'all so much. If you have a good man, take care of them because they're hard to find. So I'm starting my journey today. Thank you so much. I pray for each and every one of you that is going through something similar to me.
Brothers, you can't make good wine from bad grapes. If you build your house on sand, don't be surprised when it collapses. This woman clearly has more than one issue. Let's hope that in her next relationship, she learns to better analyze what she's looking for in a man and, this time, doesn't ignore the red flags she herself admitted to seeing. What do you guys think about this story? We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about this woman's story? Why do you think the man changed toward her? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.